Meghan Markle's relationship with Queen Elizabeth was anything but simple. When they first met, Meghan quickly gained the Queen's trust and affection. Her Majesty welcomed her with open arms and graciously accepted her into the royal family, but over time tension began to grow beneath the surface. The Queen was deeply saddened when she heard Meghan's shocking accusations against the royal family, yet nothing could have prepared her for what happened next. If the Queen had been alive, her heart might not have survived Meghan Markle's most outrageous act, an act committed after Her Majesty's death. This wasn't just bold, it was a true betrayal. How did the relationship between Queen Elizabeth and Meghan Markle really unfold? And what decision did the Duchess of Sussex make that crossed the line forever? In this video, you'll discover the whole truth behind Meghan Markle's shocking act. When Meghan Markle first met Queen Elizabeth II in 2017, it seemed like the beginning of a perfect royal fairy tale. The Queen was reportedly charmed by the elegant American actress and believed that Meghan could become a true asset to the monarchy, unlike Kate Middleton, who had to wait until after her wedding to join the royal Christmas at Sandringham. Meghan was warmly invited months before officially becoming part of the family. It was seen as a clear sign that Her Majesty was ready to embrace Meghan without delay. Just weeks after the wedding in May 2018, the Queen extended an even greater gesture of trust. She invited Meghan on a special solo engagement to Cheshire. Photos of the two laughing together made headlines suggesting a blossoming friendship. According to sources at the time, it was the Queen's brilliant sense of humor that helped bring them closer. Insiders shared that this warm and approachable side of Her Majesty made Meghan feel comfortable within the royal family. And speaking of royal family life, have you ever wondered what kings and queens really eat? Not just at grand banquets, but during everyday meals or important family dinners. As royal chefs reveal, they often prefer simple, comforting dishes. At Buckingham Palace, for example, shepherd's pie is a favorite. If you are curious about what's served behind palace doors across Europe, this new book is a true gem. It's a collection of easy and delicious main course recipes inspired by the royal families of Europe. If you are often asking yourself, what should I cook for dinner? This book is your perfect answer. Bring a touch of royal elegance to your table with simple recipes everyone can enjoy. Elegant Main Dishes is now available on Amazon, both in Kindle and hardcover versions. Click the link below the video to get your copy today. So, let's continue. How did Meghan Markle and the Queen's story start? Meghan herself later reflected on this trip during her 2021 interview with CBS. She described how relaxed the atmosphere had been, recalling a meaningful but straightforward moment when they were traveling between engagements. The Queen, noticing the chilly weather, placed a blanket over both their knees, a caring gesture that touched Meghan deeply. She admitted, "And it made me think of my grandmother, where she's always been warm and inviting and really welcoming." As further proof of acceptance, the Queen gifted Meghan a pair of delicate pearl earrings, a symbol of personal affection and trust. At that moment, it seemed that Meghan had truly been welcomed not just as a duchess, but almost as a granddaughter. However, behind these public displays of warmth, the foundations of their relationship were already being tested, cracks that would soon be impossible to ignore. Prince Harry's memoir Spare says trouble started before the wedding. The Queen had personally invited Harry and Meghan to her private quarters at Buckingham Palace to select a tiara. "Tiaras suit you," she told Meghan tenderly. It was a moment of royal bonding, but it didn't last long. After choosing the headpiece, Meghan was asked to schedule a rehearsal with the Queen's trusted dresser, Angela Kelly. That's when things became complicated. Harry claimed Angela Kelly was being obstructive, making it difficult for Meghan to access the tiara. He even considered going to the Queen directly, but hesitated, unsure whose side she would take. Royal insiders later confirmed that Her Majesty would have likely supported Angela. This wasn't the only point of friction. Meghan's choice of wedding dress also raised royal eyebrows. The Queen privately thought Meghan's Givenchy gown was too wide for a divorcee remarrying in church. Even Prince Charles stepping in to walk Meghan down the aisle made the Queen uncomfortable. And behind palace doors, Prince Philip warned his wife to be cautious. Meghan reminded him too much of another American divorcee, Wallis Simpson, the woman blamed for King Edward VIII's abdication. The fairy tale introduction was over, and the first cracks in Meghan's relationship with the Queen were already too deep to ignore. Behind the palace walls, titles and tiaras couldn't hide one growing problem: Meghan Markle's reputation among royal staff. What began as whispers soon turned into headlines, and Meghan earned a nickname that no royal wants: Duchess Difficult. One of the most notable incidents occurred at Frogmore Cottage, where Harry and Meghan resided between 2019 and early 2020. According to royal historian Hugo Vickers, Meghan berated a Windsor under-gardener so harshly that the head gardener felt compelled to escalate the matter directly to Queen Elizabeth II herself. The Queen, known for her calm demeanor and deep respect for royal staff, didn't hesitate. She personally drove over to speak with Meghan and made it apparent that rudeness towards employees would not be tolerated. This was a serious sign of disapproval for a monarch who rarely intervened in private disputes. But this was far from an isolated case. Reports surfaced of Meghan allegedly screaming at a florist for half an hour over a missed social media mention, and former staff members described a toxic atmosphere where employees felt chewed up and spat out. One insider famously compared Meghan's behavior to that of a mean girl's teenager, warm and charming at first, but quick to turn cold when things didn't go her way. The pattern was clear. Staff at Kensington Palace and later at Frogmore formed what they jokingly called the Sussex Survivors Club, a group of ex-employees who claimed they had been left emotionally drained, with some even seeking therapy after working for the Duke and Duchess. Even the Queen's trusted dresser, Angela Kelly, wasn't spared. Meghan's clashes with Kelly over royal protocols and access to the tiara ahead of the wedding became legendary. It was another sign that Meghan wasn't willing to adapt to palace traditions. She expected the palace to adjust to her. Understanding the growing tensions, the Queen tried to guide Meghan. She appointed Sir Christopher Guite, her former private secretary, as a mentor to ease Meghan into royal life. But these efforts fell flat. To make matters worse, Meghan wasn't the only one facing accusations. In 2025, Prince Harry himself was accused of harassment and bullying at scale by the chair of his own charity, Santa Bell. The couple's professional reputation took another hit, reinforcing suspicions that they were difficult employers. While some defenders insisted Meghan could be generous, gifting dog leashes or skincare products to staff, the negative stories overshadowed these gestures. As tensions rose, even the Queen, with all her patience and experience, couldn't shield the royal household from the storm brewing around the Sussexes. This chapter of Meghan's royal journey revealed a side the public hadn't seen during her glamorous debut. And for Queen Elizabeth, who valued dignity, loyalty, and respect above all, watching the growing discord behind palace doors was both disappointing and deeply troubling. As tensions behind palace walls grew, the Queen wasn't ready to give up on Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Known for her wisdom and calm approach, Her Majesty believed there was still a chance to find a solution, a way to ease the pressure on the young couple and protect the monarchy's reputation. That solution was Africa. Inspired by her own experience as a young princess living a quiet life in Malta with Prince Philip, the Queen supported a bold idea. In 2019, plans were discussed to send Harry and Meghan to South Africa. Not as exiles, but as an opportunity for a royal reset. Far from London's spotlight, they could represent the crown, focus on charity work, and enjoy a more peaceful life. For Meghan, Africa provided a platform to champion causes close to her heart, such as women's rights and education. For Harry, it was a return to a continent he loved deeply. The idea was simple: give them space, purpose, and a royal role that wouldn't overshadow Prince William, but would still honor their position. Initially, both Harry and Meghan appeared receptive to this plan. Meghan reportedly said, "We can take a step back," while Harry saw it as a chance to take a breath. Royal advisors believed Cape Town could become their version of Malta, a place to build a future within the royal framework, but this hopeful plan never became a reality. In September 2019, Harry and Meghan embarked on their official tour of southern Africa. It should have been a success, meeting Archbishop Desmond Tutu with baby Archie and retracing Princess Diana's steps in Angola were moments that touched the public. Yet, behind the smiles, the cracks widened. During an emotional interview at the end of the tour, Meghan revealed just how unhappy she was. Her words, "Not many people have asked if I'm okay," echoed worldwide. It was clear Meghan didn't see Africa as a fresh start. She saw it as another chapter of royal struggles. Harry also fiercely attacked the British tabloids, accusing them of a ruthless campaign against his wife. Instead, the tour, intended to heal wounds, became a public display of their discontent. The Queen's last hope to peacefully integrate the Sussexes had failed. The African plan, once seen as a lifeline, became a symbol of everything that was going wrong. Just a few months later, Harry and Meghan announced their decision to return from royal duties. Looking back, the Africa tour wasn't a new beginning. It was a warning of the storm to come. This was a bitter disappointment for Queen Elizabeth, who had offered them an elegant solution. What could have been a graceful compromise became the prelude to Megxit and the beginning of the royal family's most public crisis in decades. In January 2020, the royal family and the entire world was shaken by a statement no one saw coming. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle announced that they would step back as senior members of the royal family and seek financial independence while splitting their time between the UK and North America. For Queen Elizabeth II, it was more than just a breach of protocol, it was a personal blow. The monarch dedicated her entire life to duty and stability, faced her grandson and his wife, turning their backs on centuries of tradition. What hurt the most was their decision and how they made it public, without proper discussion or warning to the Queen. Her Majesty, known for her calm and measured responses, issued a rare personal statement expressing disappointment and grace. Although we would have preferred them to remain full-time working members of the royal family, we respect and understand their wish to live a more independent life, she wrote. Behind these carefully chosen words, insiders revealed a different story. The Queen felt personally hurt and saddened by the thought of losing daily contact with Harry and of watching young Archie grow up far from the family. But the actual point of no return came a year later. In March 2021, Harry and Meghan sat down with Oprah Winfrey for a tell-all interview that would send shock waves across the globe. During the 2-hour special, Meghan accused the royal family of failing to protect her from relentless media attacks and, most devastatingly, suggested that there had been concerns and conversations within the family about how dark Archie's skin might be. The accusation of racism against the heart of the monarchy was unprecedented. The Queen, who had always maintained a public image of neutrality and dignity, was now at the center of a global scandal. Just imagine what a blow like that feels like for an elderly person's heart. By the way, today everyone can easily monitor their heart health using just their phone. Simply place your finger on the camera of your iPhone. The Heartscape app does the rest. Download it now from the App Store and check your pulse in seconds. So, when Meghan Markle made her accusations, Buckingham Palace responded with a brief but pointed statement. The issues raised, particularly that of race, are concerning. While some recollections may vary, they are taken very seriously and will be addressed by the family privately. Those 4 words, recollections may vary, were a quiet but clear indication that the Queen did not fully accept Meghan and Harry's version of events. Yet, true to her nature, Elizabeth handled the matter discreetly, shielding the institution from further damage. Still, insiders reported that the Queen was deeply wounded. She had always tried to welcome Meghan, offering her guidance, honors, and trust. To see those efforts repaid with public accusations and global humiliation was a source of quiet sorrow for Her Majesty. Many believed this was the ultimate betrayal, but they were wrong. What Meghan Markle did after the Queen's death would overshadow even the pain of Megxit and the Oprah interview. It wasn't just a scandal, it was something far worse. It was a move so bold and disrespectful that those close to the Queen said it was a good thing she didn't live to see it. The true betrayal was yet to come. To understand Meghan Markle's greatest betrayal, we need to go back to where it all began. When Queen Elizabeth warmly welcomed Meghan into the royal family, it wasn't just about smiles and royal titles. The Queen offered Meghan something far more meaningful, her trust. Along with a symbolic gift of delicate pearl earrings, a gesture of personal affection, Her Majesty appointed Meghan Vice President of the Queen's Commonwealth Trust. This wasn't just an honorary title. The Commonwealth was the heart of the Queen's legacy, an organization she had dedicated her entire life to. By giving Meghan such a role, Elizabeth demonstrated that she believed in the Duchess and saw her as part of the monarchy's future. For Elizabeth II, the Commonwealth wasn't just another royal duty, it was her life's work, an organization she had dedicated herself to since her 21st birthday, when she famously pledged to serve its people. Over her 70-year reign, the Queen visited more than 200 countries in the Commonwealth, consistently promoting unity, equality, and cooperation. Entrusting Meghan and Harry with key roles in the Commonwealth was a clear message. They were the future of this cherished institution. But just a few years later, that trust would be shattered. In December 2022, only months after the Queen's death, Meghan and Harry released their explosive Netflix docuseries. While the couple didn't directly speak against the Commonwealth, they hired commentators who did precisely that. In front of millions of viewers worldwide, the Queen's beloved institution was branded as Empire 2.0, a relic of colonialism accused of being a tool for Britain's capitalist interests. Academic Afua Hirsch claimed the Commonwealth was a privileged club born from the remnants of empire. At the same time, author Kehinde Andrews argued that nothing had changed since colonial times except for better PR. These harsh words echoed throughout the series, painting the organization the Queen loved as a symbol of oppression. For those who knew Elizabeth II, this was more than criticism, it was a dagger to the heart. Royal experts agreed that had the Queen lived to see this, she would have been devastated. After all, she entrusted Meghan with representing the Commonwealth's values, believing the young Duchess could inspire a new generation. Instead, Meghan allowed her platform to launch a public attack on everything the Queen had spent decades building. Journalists described it as a direct assault on the Queen's legacy. "It's almost lucky that Queen Elizabeth isn't alive to see this," remarked royal commentator Richard Eden. Others called it disgraceful, noting that while Meghan once proudly wore a wedding veil embroidered with symbols of all Commonwealth nations, her stance had dramatically shifted. Was it ignorance, a change of heart, or a calculated move? Whatever the reason, Meghan's actions were seen by many as the ultimate betrayal, not just of the royal family, but of the Queen personally. Elizabeth had welcomed Meghan like family, shared private moments, and offered her one of the most meaningful roles in the monarchy. Yet, after Her Majesty's passing, Meghan stood by as the Queen's life's work was publicly dismantled globally. This wasn't just a scandal, it was the moment Meghan Markle crossed a line from tension and disappointment to true betrayal, and for those loyal to Queen Elizabeth II, it confirmed one heartbreaking truth. Meghan didn't just walk away from the royal family, she turned her back on the woman who had once embraced her like a granddaughter. Despite all the tensions, accusations, and public scandals, Queen Elizabeth II never allowed personal disappointment to overshadow her sense of duty or her love for family. Even after Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's departure from royal life and the painful revelations that followed, Her Majesty continued to show dignity, patience, and a willingness to keep the door open. In June 2022, during her historic Platinum Jubilee, the Queen experienced a moment that brought light into difficult days. She finally met her great-granddaughter, Lilibet Diana. The little girl, named after the Queen's beloved childhood nickname, was introduced to Her Majesty at Windsor Castle. It was a quiet, private family meeting away from the cameras, but filled with meaning. But even this moment wasn't free of tension. The Queen was reportedly displeased that her childhood nickname had been given to her great-granddaughter without her consent. Why was this name so precious to Her Majesty? I explained the full story in my previous video. Check it out. Despite the tension and the fact that the Queen, who was 96 at the time, had to cancel several Jubilee appearances due to health issues, seeing Lilibet turn 1 was a rare joy. She spent time with Lily and Archie, offering gifts and sharing precious moments. Insiders revealed that despite everything, the Queen thought her great-grandchildren were adorable, a reminder that above all, she was a grandmother and great-grandmother before she was a monarch. True to her character, Elizabeth chose grace over grievance. She warmly welcomed the meeting with Lily, refusing to let personal feelings cloud a family moment. It was her way, consistently placing unity and kindness above conflict, even when others didn't show her the same courtesy. This meeting would be the last significant connection between Meghan, Harry, and the Queen. Just weeks later, Her Majesty passed away, leaving behind not only a nation in mourning, but also unresolved wounds within her own family. What do you think? Did Meghan really betray the Queen, or was it all just a misunderstanding? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching.